And we are live from UFC ABC on 4 UFC breakdown show here. Jairzinho Rozenstruik and Jailton Alemeida is the main event. And with me is the return of Lou Betya, a 3-week hiatus. We're glad to have him back. I know Lorena something is in my comments every week, and she's like, "Where's Lou?" And I'm like, he still exists. He's just not here this week. He's got other things, but glad to have you back. Lou, you're here for an incredible card.
Hey, man, I'm still a professional. I'm still a fucking professional. I got to do what we got to do. We got to help the people. A lot of juiced lines on this card. Not a lot of props that I like at the moment, but yeah, Kim Bohm. How can you not be excited?
Yeah, well said. I mean, you're just clearly coming for only the big cards when you're showing up for this UFC on ABC.
I'm proving my love. I'm proving my love for the show by doing this card.
Exactly. And then with me, as always, doesn't need a hiatus, doesn't need to take weeks off, isn't a professional, that's for sure. Just my 2 cents. How are you doing, my friend?
Hello, Aaron.
Hello.
Lou, it takes a lot of nerve to be on a beautiful channel like Aaron's and then to just leave it high and dry. When we were all on panel together, I felt something that I haven't felt in a long time. And now I know what that was. I know what that feeling was. I know what that taste was. It was the taste of betrayal.
It was the taste of betrayal. Shame this man.
It was the
shame this
of
man.
Betrayal. You fucking whore. No, it's good to have you back. Had to let you have it a little bit, but it's good to see you on panel again. What's up, Aaron? What's up, chat? This is just a really awesome card. So I'm glad to be here for, man. I'm definitely going to bring the professional gambler's perspective, but also the predictions as well. So thank you for having me. Let's do it.
Can I just say that the only reason I'm really here is so that when Aaron asked me to price out his 5-leg parlay for John Lee, and I listened to him, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't do it. Then he goes, I'm only here for that.
Yep, exactly. You'll only get Zhang Li here. Hopefully, don't tell me Zhang Li if you're in other chats. I don't want to know. But good to have everybody here. Glad to have the trio back. Just my 2 cents. Glad to have you here. The last couple of weeks have definitely been interesting and enjoyable. But honestly, glad to have the trio back, as Zhang Li said. So that was as light of a roasting as I could have expected from just my 2 cents. He actually must really like you, because that is the lightest roast of all time.
Not even like a y'all motherfuckers. Like,
yeah, like it wasn't like he cut it. Yeah, just he's gotten weaker in his old age.
I'm trying to be respectful of the man's channel, so I'm not trying to about me.
Yeah, it's all at the end of the day. For some reason, or actually not for some reason, I'm on Bellator 296 right now. So let me get over to UFC. This card here. I probably am just going to stick around for a couple minutes at the end to give a quick picks on Bellator 296 as well. I just don't have the time right now. I'm moving. It's still in the process of moving here, so I don't have the time to do separate videos that are actually, I think, worth really tuning into. So I'll give you my thoughts on and be as clear on the fights I've really put the thoughts into. And so I'll be back with Cage Warriors, Bellator, Kate Fury, all that once things get more settled here. But for now, probably just a UFC show, and then I'll do some quick picks. I'll do LFA separate because LFA is my shit. So, but Bellator is just, it's not worth it, especially not this week with other things. So we all got other real life stuff going on. It's all good. So let's get into the event we'll get into the event after talking about 2 of my least favorite fighters in the first 2 fights. I'll make sure to make that very clear as we go on. But we've got a flyweight bout here. Listed at flyweight. I think it's at bantamweight, if I'm not mistaken. I've been reading at 135. Lou, do you know what weight this is at?
135.
Okay, that's what I thought. So Tapology on point as usual. Tanera, I was going to, be pretty concerned about if she was trying to make it down to 135 or 125. But either way, she hasn't fought anybody besides Norma Dumont in her debut. Norma Dumont turned into a wrestler and got the most shallow choke and quickest tap I've seen in some time. But it is what it is. I mean, it's Norma Dumont, Valentina Shevchenko. Those are her first 2 fights as pros, but those are kind of a while ago. She beat a bunch of nobodies. She lost to the only somebody she's ever fought, and that isn't even a somebody. It's just somebody with over 500 record in Lorani Santos. She typically gets the KO, but she also has a couple arm triangles as well. Jessica Rose Clark just isn't very good. She's not fought anybody of note. She gets armbarred like it's her job. This fighter doesn't have an armbar on her record. So there's that. I don't really have much to say about this. I see a ton of people on Tanera just because Jessica Rose Clark is bad. I'm kind of along those lines myself, but maybe Jessica Rose Clark comes in here and gets kind of a Jocelyn Edwards style decision. I'm not very excited to get involved with this fight. 2 cents. What's your thoughts on this banger?
Oh, you said it, buddy. It's a banger, all right. I'm gonna be fucking banging my head against the wall trying to watch this shit. Like, I don't know, dude. I get the fade on Jessica Rose Clark. I am right there with everyone else. I have been trying to fade this chick for a long time. I'm like, okay, they're giving her, surely she can beat like this level of competition, but it's still giving me pause. Like, she should be able to win this fight, but she's such a fucking head case. And just listening to all the shit she says, like about she wanted to retire after her last fight. She totally lost it mentally, just had like a breakdown. It's like this Lisboa, like on the feet, man, she was kind of beating Norma Dumont's ass before that takedown. So
in 2016.
Yeah, it's true. But like, I don't know, man. This is absolutely a pass.
Yeah.
If I was going to pick a side, I don't know, man. Maybe Clark by decision, or like just bet the money line on Lisboa if she's still at dog odds. But I'm happy, man. The pick, dude, I might just fucking flip a coin. I really just don't care about this fight.
That's what it kind of deserves. I also feel like this is kind of one of these situations with Lisboa that she's going to become a favorite by fight night. And this is kind of one of these classic late favorites who should not be a favorite. And I think Rose Clark, if she's plus money on fight night, might be the pick.
I mean, she's she definitely has more experience. She just kind of sucks, and like she's very unreliable. And like
another thing I will just say, and then I'll turn it over to you, Lou, so you can get in on this Jessica Rose Clark Tanera action. Is that Jessica Rose Clark's main training partner is Amber LeBrock, and she looked really good over in PFL. Got that real clean knockout, and I mean, definitely is like a live training partner for Jessica Rose Clark. I think she's got a lot more money behind her for training camps as well, from like her Monster affiliation. She's very good friends with that Hans guy. She's always tagging it. So it's like, Lisboa is a 32-year-old Brazilian who's fought nobody and is making her UFC debut here. So honestly, I just don't think either side is too appealing, but Jessica Rose Clark at plus money is the most likely to get a bet from me. Lou.
Yeah. So aside, I guess I have to go Clark because she's fought people that are considered professional fighters. And Lisboa's best win is against my 73-year-old neighbor who has 2 cribbage wins on the professional tour.
Congratulations to her, by the way.
I mean, she's no joke, man.
That's $3K at least.
She's a terrifying bird. If you have to bet this fight, which you don't, there's 2 plays that like you could. I love me some plus money. I don't think the under 2.5 plus 170 is terrible. I don't know that Lisboa's cardio is that good. And Clark has a predilection for getting submitted immediately.
Only by arm bars, though.
Yeah, I mean, but also, and like Lisboa's submission is plus 800. It seems overpriced. Like, I'm not saying that's her prime win condition. Like, it's not. But if this thing hits the mat, like, Clark has a problem getting up. She has a problem defending. Like, and you got to think that, like, when you're training against JRC at this point, to go for submissions. Like, know that's her liability. So, I mean, Stolyarenko, that fight's hysterical because it's like, what's her path? Armbar. That's her only path in this fight. What happened? Armbar. So, like, but if this thing gets out of the first, Clark's probably fight. I don't know if she's fighting for her job. At 135, it's not like there's not like a lot of depth. So she's probably
been an
not
unranked bantamweight woman for like 3 fights in a row, and there's only 4 unranked bantamweight fighters in like the roster.
Right, but we've seen what the UFC is doing right now. Like, they have no problem cycling out fan favorites because they're cutting costs. Like, they'd rather pay Lisboa $5 and free food than pay Clark. Like, what's Clark making for this fight? 12 and 12?
Too much. Yeah.
But
I mean, dude, she said she fucking froze up against Stolyarenko. Like, that was too much for her. It's like
what's Clark getting paid? She's a vet. Is she making 24? Like, what's she making?
I don't think she makes most of her money from fighting.
Well, I understand that, but like, what's she making? What's the UFC paying her?
Right.
Like, they could clear. Like, they got another.
People still talk about Jessica Rose Clark. That's why she's still on the roster.
Well, she's opening a shitty card. I mean, so they're not talking about her that much to justify keeping her. You have another series. The Contender Series is starting up in a few months. They're just going to start cycling these people out. Like, so she's probably fighting for her job. I can't say it 100%, but she's probably fighting for her job. So Clark coming out and looking for like a flashy win to save it isn't inconceivable. So plus 170 for this under 2.5. Not terrible if you have to bet it, but I'll be watching like the end of a soccer game while this is going on.
Yeah, no, that's fair. We've talked about this more than we should have. Minus 105 on Tanera right now. Minus 115 on Rose Clark. So basically, it's going to be a pick 'em. And
Aaron, you also know my feeling on people that have more than one title belt in their picture. I don't like it.
Yeah, no, it is a red flag. Typically, it's very. Who's that guy who you always make fun of? Freddie or Frankie Val? What is it? I'm forgetting. He's like, oh god, I'm trying to think who. Never mind. It's gonna come to me later. But I definitely had multiple belts in his. But we're moving on to the next fight. I'm glad that we can welcome you back with this fight, and then talking about Bryan Battle, because anybody here knows how I feel about Bryan Battle at this point. I don't talk about Bryan Battle fights because I don't have anything really of substance to say about Bryan Battle. So you guys can take it over. I always will pick against him, though. So I got Gabe Green by knockout, if that helps, which it shouldn't help you at all because I'm very biased. But Lou, what do you think about this fight between Gabe Green and Bryan Battle at 170 on short notice?
Well, I'm going to steal one of your favorite phrases here. I'm worried about the echo chamber that is everybody on the space taking Gabe Green here. I mean, what's Gabe like? And I don't think Battle's very good. Let me get that out of the way. Now, he's not going to get out wrestled like he did against like Renat, because Gabe Green doesn't really approach fights like that. But I don't know what Battle does well. Like, other than getting a flash head kick KO, I'm not certain what he does well. He doesn't move laterally very well. His striking in general is not particularly like, and Gabe Green's not getting knocked out here. Like, there's no, like, Battle's path is decision, but I'm not sure how, because Green has all the takedown equity. And aside from that Lioness fight, which was just such an inconceivably weird and bad fight where they respected each other too much, like, he's always going to be a volume guy compared to Battle. So Green wins this fight. I mean, you like him by KO. I don't hate that either. He's minus 140. That's good enough for me. But I don't know if I'm getting this either because, man, and there's another fight we're going to get to where I've heard everybody's on it, and yet the line's not moving the right way. But give me Gabe. This one it is. I'll pick Gabe Green for the show. There's something in the back of my head that says don't bet this, but I think Gabe Green's the side at this price.
Yeah, one thing I'll note
is it's a buy low spot on Gabe Green too here.
Yeah, a couple things to note. For one, Bryan Battle taking this on short notice. Gabe Green was preparing for Jake Matthews. Bryan Battle is from the Carolina area, so he's gonna have a ton of support there. And I'm not really a big believer in hometown advantage or disadvantage. And yeah, overall, I do think this is a good fight. It's just I have my personal reasons I don't discuss Bryan Battle fights. And I always get worried when there's an echo chamber around a fighter who I'm, maybe not rooting for. So just my 2 cents. And also, I just want to say about the head kick. Last thing I'll say about the fight I'm not talking about. that head kick knockout, go back and look through Brian Battle's entire career and show me these KOs. He was a decision machine. I think he landed a Gabriel Gonzaga head kick. I don't think he'll ever land a head kick KO again. So watch Gabe Green get knocked out by head kick now. But just my 2 cents. What's your thoughts on this fight?
Well, my pick is going to be Gabe, Green. No, yeah, I am a Gabe Green backer and a Brian Battle detractor, so I'm no fucking good on this one either. But I do think Gabe Green is a better striker. Brian Battle is very, like, he's powerful, but he's stiff, and he's not, like, Sato's chinny too, man, so I don't really, like, take – it was impressive because it was just – I didn't expect it to happen like that because Battle's a fucking decisionator, but it's like – you really look at it like, I don't know, man, Gabe Green is pretty fucking tough. Like, he's been sat down a couple times, but he's got a lot of heart. And I just think he works at a higher clip. I think he hits harder with the punches, and he'll stay right in Battle's face. And I just don't like, Battle is usually wants that kind of fight to be able to win a war of attrition. I don't think he can win a war of attrition against Gabe Green. I think it's more likely that Gabe Green like mashes the gas on him and gets him up out of there. So yeah, I'm gonna take Green. That'll be the pick for sure. I'm going to be betting very light on this card. I got my fucking ass shellacked last weekend, so I'm going to be chilling out on the gambling a little bit.
Should have listened to my picks, dude.
I know, dude. I'm fucking hard-headed, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Or you should have listened to me, and you would have hit the trifecta on the Kentucky Derby first time in my life.
Oh, God. What? If it was horse racing, Lou, I'd talk to my father. But, you know,
I'd talk to my father still.
Dude, I'd talk to my
50-cent bet for $4.91.
Dude. Well, congrats on that. But nah, man, I got Green. Let's war Gabe Green. Fuck Brian Battle. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna make it a secret. I try not to have a lot of breakdowns like that, but I mean, go back a year and you can connect the dots and figure it out. But yeah, either way, Gabe Green, you're welcome on the channel anytime, buddy. All right, next fight. The hits keep coming and they don't stop coming. Back to the ground, so I hear my crowd running. Jin Yun Kim and Mandy Bum rescheduled for the 31st time. I don't really know what to say about this fight.
Yeah.
Other than that, each time they reschedule it, I feel like Mandy Bum becomes a bigger and bigger underdog. And I'm still not going to take the bait. I'm going to go with Jin Yun Kim because she actually throws volume and proper punch techniques. Mandy Bum is a bum. So that is my breakdown. I can't wait to get to the card that starts after this fight, I believe. I haven't looked to the next fight, but I believe it starts after this one. Just my 2 cents. Are you on the Jin Yun Kim train?
I am indeed, sir. I think she is a much better striker. They're the same age, and Ji-Yeon Kim has much more experience at a much higher level. I know that's kind of like an easy fucking WikiCat breakdown, but I just don't give a fucking shit about this fight. I do think Ji-Yeon Kim is the side, though. Mandy Bum, I think, is kind of a fraud, and I think Ji-Yeon Kim, while she's not very good, I do think she's gotten robbed in a couple of her fights, and she's not very good, and she has a shitty-ass record, but I think she's a little bit better than Bum, so give me Kim.
All right, Lou, get in there.
I mean, I don't want to like steal Sadiq Youssef's gimmick right now, but like, what does it take to beat a monster? A fire fist. It seems like that would be the way to beat a monster. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm looking right now at like if they have the split decision prop up, I can almost guarantee you it's going to be like fucking. That's not up yet. I'll just guess it's going to be plus 350. Even that's not going to be like worth it. Kim, let's move on. I mean, I don't fucking know.
There we go.
Brady is like in love with Young Kim, and he hates Mandy Bum. So okay. I'll blame Brady if Bum wins this one.
That's good.
No bet for me. No bet for me here.
I'll blame Brady too. That works.
Yeah, that's fine. Brady. I'll also blame Brady. I feel like Brady should make an appearance on one of these breakdowns one day.
Maybe Brady.
Maybe we'll do a late breakdown to get the 4 of us on for like a UFC on fuel card or something.
Yeah, UFC Parsippany.
Yeah, exactly. Justin, I'm gonna do my quick picks for Bellator at the end. I said at the beginning of the video, I just don't have the time with moving right now to fully commit to a full video, so I'm not going to put out a separate video. Anytime I put out a separate video, I've kind of made a guarantee that I've put in the work to do that. I'm just going to do quick picks at the end and make it clear on the fights I've really been able to look into. So that's what I got for you with Bellator. Kim robbed by Bohm in its hard time. Kim gets robbed by Bohm in its hard times. So that's enough on this early section of the card. Next fight, I am pretty excited about this one. It, of course, is another rescheduled fight because that is a requirement for every UFC card moving forward, is that they reschedule a fight either for a legit reason or not legit reason. And they're like, yeah, we're just putting this in a couple weeks. This is not 5 rounds like they've done with some bullshit lately. But Natan Levy and Pete Rodriguez, I think Pete Rodriguez, I believe it was his grandmother who died a few weeks ago. I'm not sure if it was anything related to making his first trip down to 155 also, but either way, got this one clipped back up. Pete Rodriguez, he's a brawler. He hits hard for sure, but relatively untested. He has a new nickname now, Dead Game, as far as I'm concerned. That's a new nickname. 5'9", 73-inch reach for a Dead Game. Got the knockout of Mike Jackson. Obviously, it was a hilarious meme. We're glad that happened. Got knocked out badly by Jack Della in his debut. And then, Lobby, I'm honest about my picks. I put in the work. I'm perfectly confident in my picks. I'll tell you the ones I'm confident on. You're the one who's listening right now.
Yeah.
But please keep telling me what I'm confident on without me speaking. Please.
Yeah.
I love being spoken for. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Great comment. Anyways, Pete Rodriguez hasn't fought a whole bunch of competition. For the most part, he knocks them out very, very quickly. Hasn't been outside the first round yet. Natan Levy, very, very technical fighter. Pretends to be a Taekwondo fighter, mostly just grapples. Got out grappled by Rafa Garcia. Hasn't been knocked out. I think that for the most part, he good defensively. He's not amazing on the offense. I think he'll control and tire out Pete Rodriguez and most likely submit him past round 1. So round 2 submission because it pays more.
Did you steal my fucking line? Did you steal my line?
You steal my lines, I steal your lines. All right, Lobby, take a timeout. I'll talk to you later. I don't really give a fuck about your opinion about me.
Oh, wait, that was Lobby talking shit? Oh,
of course
I'll deal with him. I'll deal with him later.
Lou.
So I'm not going to mention the handicapper in the space, but I see somebody taking Pete Rodriguez round 2, round 3 KO. This is the guy who has 8 minutes of professional fight time, and he's taking a poke on the round 3 KO against Natan Levy, who's never been finished. So I'm just saying I don't really understand that.
Also, like Natan Levy stands very, very long and wide, which is, I think, tough for a short-armed 5'9" boxer to connect with also.
Yeah, I mean, even in the Garcia fight, like Garcia, I know Garcia's like not the most defensively responsible, and Levy's not a KO artist, but Garcia at first was struggling to get inside the range. Levy did start to slow down a little bit in the second, and that's when Garcia was at least able to get inside. But Rodriguez isn't like fucking refined. He doesn't have beating Mike Jackson doesn't really tell me anything here.
No.
It doesn't say that you're so. I think Levy's going to be able to at least fend Rodriguez off. The one thing we don't know is his cardio. Like, he may have good cardio. We just don't know because of the way he fights, but we also don't know how he is on the ground. What I do know about Natan Levy is, even though he's not like a great submission ace, and his sub price, by the way, is fucking shit this week. It's like plus 180. It's like terrible.
That's terrible. I
do think that if you want to bet this fight, and I've been doing a lot of same game parlays lately, like on Twitter, I'm trying to do like a couple a week. I do a show about it now. I'd probably want to look for something like Levy 1 first round takedown and Levy money line, and you probably get that the first round takedown really lowers it. You probably get like minus 120, which I think is great because I don't know that Rodriguez has win equity past the first round. Like, can he bonk him and get lucky? Dude, it happens. Like, land a perfect shot. I get it. But I do think that Levy can weather the storm here, just get him down immediately and negate Rodriguez's whole offense. And if he does, I don't know if he's going to be able to get up. And Levy's deceptively fucking strong, dude. He is like a super I don't think people realize how goddamn strong he is.
Jack is so sick.
Well, Jack just hit like 500 followers on Bet MMA Tips, so the world looks great to him right now. Checked my
Yeah,
douche.
and P-Rod saying, Moist is saying P-Rod too stocky to get taken down. No such thing.
But and
That,
also look at these Tapology pictures. Like one looks like a ninja and one looks like Pete Rodriguez. So
just my 2 cents. Are you with myself and the Jewish better on Natan Levy, or are you in an enemy to the home state?
I'm not just saying this because I'm on a Jewish channel. I'm just this
a Jewish channel. I forgot this is a Jewish
Shalom.
I'm not. Awesome. I'm not just trying to ingratiate myself here. I do favor Levy in this. I'm worried about Levy against a higher level of competition, but I think they are very carefully moving this dude along. I think he's a vastly superior grappler, and when it does get to the ground, I think he probably chokes Pete Rodriguez. Pete Rodriguez, like round 1 KO, is not a terrible bet, but I just think Levy's the side, so I will be picking him. If Rodriguez chin checks him, it's not going to stun me, but I think it's going to take a little bit better of a fighter. I think Rodriguez is very one-dimensional, and like Levy can probably game plan for a dude like this. So give me Levy.
Yeah, no, Pete Rodriguez, I don't think it's UFC level, frankly. Justin, I'm going to read your comment out loud because this deserves it. I want to root for Levy, even though his Tapology picture looks like he teaches karate in the second mall your town has with less people to go to.
Us.
That's an incredible comment. I hope you didn't steal that from somewhere, because that's honestly one of the best.
I feel attacked right now.
He's using ChatGPT right now to come up with his.
No, that's such a specific reference. I've learned about AI writing lately, and the specific references is one of the ways you can tell when it. Yeah, well done. The AI is really advancing quickly, Justin. You're a tremendous example of that. Minus 250 on Nate Levy, plus 200. I think that's out of range, but yeah, I think overall this fight getting under 2.5 most likely is what happens. So, all right,
and it's juiced. It's minus 160 something. So I mean, they're clearly giving you both ends of it. Yeah.
Yep, they know, and also Levy has proved plenty of times to be a decision machine. So it's not like that. He's not above just being like out techniquing him for 15 minutes. He does lack a killer instinct. It's one of my least favorite things about Natan Levy is he just does not seem to want to be a fighter. He just kind of is. So I'm waiting to fade him as well. I just don't think Pete Rodriguez is the guy. Next fight, Cody Stamann, Douglas Silva to Andrade. I was kind of shocked these guys have never fought each other. I could have sworn they did, and I guess they didn't. Stamann, he's a fellow Spartan. He's from Sparta, Michigan. He went to Michigan State, wrestled at Michigan State. Very good wrestler. He's improved his boxing a ton as he's gone on as well, especially defensively. In fact, he's never been knocked out. It's only been kind of some fluky submissions for the most part. His fight with Song Yadong, still, he won that fight. That's a brutal draw to have on your record, because I think to this day it's why he's on a prelim for a UFC ABC 4 card. And not getting an easy draw here with Douglas Silva to Andrade. I just think we're starting to see that the super freak Douglas Silva kind of slow down just a little bit. I mean, the Morozov fight, I feel like this is pretty similar to, and honestly, he was making Morozov look pretty good until he really hurt him in that second round. I think Cody Stamann is a lot harder to hurt personally. And then the Said Nurmagomedov fight, you just kind of saw the limitations of Douglas start to show up. You see the age starting to show up just a little bit. He's very over-reliant, I think, kind of on the speed, and the gas is just showing up more and more for me. And I just think Stamann's got to be steady here for the most part. He's very experienced. He's hard to finish. He's never been knocked out. I think the route is pretty clear on how you beat Douglas Silva. Morozov was on his way to doing that before he got bonked in that second round, and then that finishing sequence. So I think this is a good spot for Stamann. I wanted to find a way to get to Douglas Silva. I'm a big fan of him. I've been on him against Murphy. Been on him in his last 4 fights, honestly. But I just think Stamann gets it done. I think Stamann knows what he needs to do here. I think this is a pretty bad matchup overall for Douglas Silva, but I think this is a good matchup for the division. So I'm excited to see it. But I got Stamen by decision. Wrestle, rinse and repeat. Don't use the stand up until 2 or 3. No reason to. I just think that Douglas Silva the time's run out for him to fight the way he does. But he's proven me wrong. He's been right before, so we'll see. 2 cents.
Yeah, I really fucking hate that everyone is on Stamen because he seems like the obvious side. I'm worried that Douglas Silva de Andrade de Silva is gonna fucking starch him, but Cody's pretty durable, man, and I think he's a way better wrestler. I think he just grinds him out. I don't know if he finishes him, but I think it's like hits the cards and it's a pretty obvious that Stamen won it. I'm a little scared to parlay Stamen, the thought of that, but I think Cody's the side, man. I think he probably wins this one comfortably.
All right, Lou, what do you think?
All right, let's have a little bit of a disagreement here.
About time.
Little bit. Let me ask you guys a question. If Andrade was like the same age, if he was 5 years younger, is he a favorite? Is it pick'em? How much is his age figure in this line?
I'd probably pick Andrade by knockout.
So I think it's close to. I think it's a pick'em or closer. Yeah.
Okay, so the one thing I like both these guys, but the one thing about Stamen is, and I don't care about the Eddie Wineland fight. The guy's just content to go to decisions. He's content to pitter patter. Yeah, his wrestling is good, but it's not like he doesn't really overdoes it. And the Lacerda fight, man. He took that on short notice, Lacerda, I believe. He lost to Stamen. It was a clear decision loss, but he looked pretty good. And the one thing about that I think Andrade can do better here is win moments. He's not going to be the minute winner. Stamen's going to be winning minutes. If he does shoot, I could see Stamen even going for takedowns a minute left in the round, minute and a half, kind of seal the round, just minimize damage. But I do think Andrade can win the moments on the feet. I think he can land bombs. I think he can he does the flashier stuff. So I think this fight's, you say it's Stamen by clear decision. I'm going to play the split decision here. I think this goes the distance at a very, very high clip. Andrade is pretty tough to finish. Stamen's not a big finisher, and Stamen's pretty durable. Aside from a flash choke, dude's shown really good durability.
Yeah.
I think this goes to a split decision, and this one's not going to be plus 350. I think this will be a little higher. Probably get plus 450 on it. Give me the dog to win by split decision. Probably be plus 1,100, plus 1,000 for Silva de Andrade to win by split decision. That's a prop I'm considering, and then maybe bet. But either way, I think razor thin margins here because the moment winner is going to be Andrade, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I don't hate the disagreement.
Not a ton of confidence. Not a ton of confidence, but
no, it's a close fight. I don't hate it at all. Minus 155 on Cody currently. Andrade plus 130. Andrade is always cut from stone, but we saw with Jessica Andrade last week that didn't really help very much. And by the way, my Brazilian hate paid off pretty well. Brazilian hate was paying very well last week.
I was on the Kim side too, man. I didn't think it was going to end like that.
No, no one on the Kim side thought it was going to end like that. Unless you bet the first round knockout, I don't believe you. Well, except Jack. Jack definitely believed that was going to happen because he's sick. But, all right, good fight. Really good fight there. Back down to reality here because we have another rescheduled fight, rescheduled heavyweight fight with a 205er and Chase Sherman. That is also known as Carl Williams versus Chase Sherman. I think I've broken down this fight before, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it here. Does Carl Williams know how to be hit by a legit heavyweight? Is Chase Sherman a legit heavyweight? At least Chase Sherman can hit like a legit heavyweight. So I see that being an argument on the Chase Sherman side. He's also a finisher in 15 of his 16 wins, I think. And Carl Williams has been said multiple times he wants to be a 205. I just think that Carl Williams is athletic enough and smart enough to know what he needs to do here, which is just take down. I hate to sound like I'm breaking down Cody Stamen here because obviously they're very different, but the game plan should be pretty similar here. Why would you trade with Chase Sherman? Just take him down, put him on his back. He turns into a turtle. And then it's just, are you finishing him or not? I'm just going to say Carl Williams doesn't finish him. So 2 33-year-old decisions back-to-back by wrestling. Wonderful. Awesome. Can't wait. Lou, tell me I'm crazy here.
You're not crazy. And also, let's talk about the one big difference. He was coming off like 2 weeks notice after the Brzeski fight. Now he's had time to heal. He's had time to do a proper camp. So, but the line hasn't changed. He was about minus 400 last time. So it's nice to see that the line didn't move. And yet this is far more favorable for him with the extra time off.
Right.
If you want to bet his decision, that's fine. Like, I don't really like betting decisions unless they're split decisions because I'm a weirdo. This is going to be one of those things, like, if you look at same game parlays, like obviously the first round takedown, like I talked about, but if his takedowns are like over 2.5 on Prize Picks or any of that shit, I would take that because he's probably just getting one around. I can't imagine Sherman gets up. Like, it's as soon as Williams gets a takedown, that's the end of the round. Like, he's going to hold Sherman down. Sherman will try to fight off his back. I mean, the only thing that Sherman really worries about is getting subbed. His ground game sucks for that. But in terms of getting pounded out on the ground, I don't think Carl Williams will do that. He's just going to be content. He's going to throw pitter-patter shit. He's
going to win like Cody Stamen.
He may even get stood up for like a lack of doing anything except just like laying on Sherman. So I think whatever Williams over is on takedowns, I kind of love it.
Do you remember who pulled out last time?
Sherman was sick.
It was
okay. Like stomach, but he probably had like explosive diarrhea, which
the trifecta meals make a lot of UFC fighters sick. And so
Mick's asking if I'm getting an SGP to get this to plus money. I kind of doubt it. Like, this is going to be a correlated play with, like, unless you do something like Williams, first round takedown, total takedowns. But even then, if you get this to like less than minus 200, you got to be thrilled. Like, honestly, like, and if you want to throw a decision prop in, you could probably get it to plus money at that rate. Probably get it something decent, actually. But yeah, with a correlated play like this, they kind of, this is where you get like, fuck. The last time we broke this down, I had something like Williams won first round takedown and then Sherman round 2, 3 round KO. But a lot of that had to do with the short notice nature of the bout, that Williams could be very fatigued after a 15-minute fight where he looked exhausted against Brzeski. So.
Right. And we might, and like, I mean, I can see if Williams struggles here, we now know he's not a heavyweight. Like,
I'd be surprised if he struggled with his cardio in this, because it doesn't take much effort to get Sherman down.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. But that's what, if they're, I'm just saying, like, Chase Sherman does not give me those worries either. So agree there. 2 cents.
1-800-GAMBLER. Carl Williams. Maybe Sherman knocks him out. Dude, I love the idea of backing my dude Bobo Sherman, but he's a Bobo. He likes to throw and he can't stop takedowns, and I think that's what Williams is going to do. I don't think Williams is like, I don't think he's like incredibly good. I think he's getting like a little bit overhyped for not having done that much. Like, I get why people are like, oh, they've been having success betting him, and like, I get it, but I guess the reason I'm picking him is like Sherman, he's a good striker, but I don't feel like he really has like one punch knockout power. And Williams is pretty tough. He's like, Chase is clearly the better striker. I'm not going to try and argue that, but like, it's not, Williams does have a little bit of power. I think he can keep him just honest enough to be able to get the takedowns. I think that's probably what happens. Give me Williams, but this is a fucking 1-800-GAMBLER fight.
Yeah. Minus 425 on my book currently, plus 315 on Chase, 1-800-GAMBLER. If you have a gambling problem, you probably bet on this fight. All right, the featured prelim, and it is not 2012, I just checked, is at 170, Matt Brown versus Court McGee. Well, here we go. We're doing this fight in 2023. This is just a disgusting fight. Like, I don't really know what to say about this other than I'm shocked at what a huge favorite Court McGee is here. I don't know who's trusting Court McGee at a favorite, let alone this number. And I think that it's very obvious. Go in there and don't let Matt Brown swing on you at all, especially after you've been knocked out for the first time in your career by Jeremiah Wells. Just take him down, try to expose the submission, and you should just grit it out. But like, are they going to do like one of these, like, let's stand in the middle and let's just throw? This is our last fight ever. And that's what they're going to do. And if they do that, Matt Brown wins. Matt Brown gives this guy a second KO, or they go to a decision where Matt Brown has, to coin another Lou phrase, the bigger moments. They're going to be the Matt Brown. Court McGee, like 10 years ago, wins this fight because he still doesn't have the CTE to the level he does. He's still like focused on, like the best route to victory. But I just don't think he's going to do that here. They're going to stand and bang. Matt Brown wins this fight. I hope it's by KO personally. I don't want to see a decision between these two at all. So I'm going to say Matt Brown by KO. The Brian Barberena fight was not a bad fight at all. The Diego Lima fight showed he still had the spark. And they're going to get me to a window at this price, and I hate it. So talk me out of it. 2 cents.
Nah, dude, I can't talk you out of it. I'm on McGee. The last fight with Brown, I don't really know how to I'm not really taking too much from it because McGee doesn't really fight like Barberena. And I mean, McGee's tough. Before that last knockout, I wouldn't have said that, I would have thought, there's no way he can definitely weather the storm from Matt Brown. I don't know, man. McGee's not a terrible striker. He does have he did boxing a little bit, but he's not. I do think if they're banging, I don't think that's the path for him. I do think he can mix in the wrestling though. I know Brown had success against Barberena doing that. He took him down fucking 5 times, but Bam Bam has terrible takedown defense. McGee, I think he's probably the better wrestler, maybe. I don't know, but fucking Carlos Condit took Matt Brown down twice. I don't think McGee's gonna struggle terribly to get takedowns in this fight. But yeah, if he bangs it out with Brown, I don't like it. This is another greasy fight. I don't hate anybody for taking Brown. If you're saying Brown by knockout, I can't push back too much. I'm gonna take Court to win a greasy split decision, maybe unanimous, but I don't like this fight at all, man. What the fuck even is this?
Yeah, it's it's a throwback fight, as they say. What are your thoughts, Lou?
I mean, as a fan, I love it, dude. I don't care if they're older. Come on, man. It's still pretty cool. I know it's the senior circuit, but it's two guys that I've loved for years. So I'm in that regard, I'm looking forward to it.
Sure.
You brought up the biggest point that anybody's brought up so far, Aaron, and that is, even though McGee has a very clear path here, I'm not convinced he's going to take it. I'm not convinced he's going to go takedown route. And the thing is even when McGee does go the takedown route, he's not some kind of urgent finisher. Dude, the Brahimaj fight, he should have fucked Brahimaj up, man.
Of course.
That should have been a finish. That should have been an easy finish win.
Brahimaj is terrible.
He's awful. That should have been who was Brahimaj's one win? Michael Gilmore or some shit?
Yeah. The guy from the Ultimate Fighter who they brought on for another Michael Gleason or something.
Oh, and speaking of Michael Gilmore and a canceled fight of his, in July, finally the debut of the man, the myth, the legend, Johnny the Slugger Knot Parsons.
Allegedly. He's see.
Gonna kick that dentist's ass in London. So to me, the bet is Brown or pass. I don't think I'm getting here. And I don't, even the KO, I get what you're saying. It's only plus 400. I'd need a better number than that for a 42-year-old against, and McGee's had enough time off where he's older, I get the angle here, but he has had enough time off to at least recover. And Wells hits a fucking, that dude's got some pop. But
yeah, Ed Wells by KO in that fight too, so that was nice.
I think you got to take, I think it's dog or pass in terms of a bet. And if you're going to take McGee, his decision prop is plus 105, which I don't hate. I don't think McGee gets a finish either way. I know Brown's 42, but McGee is just not a finisher. So if it does get hairy on the feet and McGee decides to go to takedowns, then it's probably a decision win for him. But I'm just not convinced he is. I'm going to sit back and watch it as a fan. I don't have the official pick's going to be McGee, because he does have the clearer path. But like, I'm not betting it. And if you have to bet it, you have to bet Brown at the price.
Minus 220 on Court McGee. Really shocking.
I'd also suggest bet it now if you're going to bet
it's
Brown.
Coming down. I agree.
Because, it's only going to get closer and closer to fight.
Yeah, you're not getting Matt Brown. Yeah, I just don't understand that.
Sorry, Jack. I confused my victims, my potential victims. Hot Dentist. He's going to beat Hot Dentist.
Jack was never going to let you take a fucking incorrect British fighter supposition.
Whatever.
He was fine with me making fun of Michael
Hot
Gilmore.
Dentist.
He was fine with me making fun of Gilmore, but not, I had the names wrong.
Yeah, rest in peace, Darren Stewart's career. The real shame what happened to that. Kyle Dawkins taking a similar route now. Tim Means versus Alex Morano, the Great White, leads off the main card on ABC. This is going to be on ABC for the nation to see. Tim Means versus Alex Morano. Whew, boy. This is going to be a difficult fight for me to judge. I don't really know what's left of Tim Means at this point. I feel like he's kind of dusty. It's kind of bad. One thing I was tuning into this weekend was Fury, and I was curious to see if Alex Morano was going to be there or not, because that was a big determination on how serious he was taking this fight. He was not there, so he was training, getting ready for his fight. He didn't decide to do commentary for Fury FC, so that's good. Alex Morano, he's decent everywhere. Like, he's not amazing anywhere particularly. He's faced a good level of competition in his UFC career. Got knocked out by Chaos Williams on no notice in 30 seconds. Lost to Anthony Pettis on his way out of the UFC. And he got knocked out by Santiago Ponzinibbio in his last time out. But for the most part, he's got decent stand-up. He's very, very tough. He's got a better gas tank than I think he gets credit for. His jiu-jitsu hasn't really shown up other than the Berkman fight. And he claims to have a good jiu-jitsu game, but a little bit concerned with kind of what route he's going to take in this fight with Tim Means. I get a little nervous with him on the feet, with his kind of style against Tim Means. I really think he does need to mix in the wrestling and grappling a little more in this fight, just because I do think Tim can kind of frustrate him at length. But I just think Tim breaks down as the fight goes. And so he's going to have to kind of spark Alex early. I don't see him being able to win a decision against Alex. I think on the mat, Alex has the advantages as well. I think I could see Alex wrestling, getting him down. Tim Means is I just don't really trust him very much at this point. Never really did. Coming off of a couple of losses to decent competition as well, but I don't know. This is not a fight I'm hugely on, but I think that Morano by submission is kind of a prop that I don't hate people taking a stab at with the price it's at, but I don't really wholeheartedly believe it. If I'm being honest, I think it's Morano by decision probably, but I don't know. 2 cents?
Dude, I'm really struggling with this one. I think this is one of the tougher fights to pick. It's kind of like a poor man's version of the fight, like right before it a little bit. It's like an older guy against a dude that's no spring chicken, but it's like, man, if this was a couple years ago, I think this would be an easy pick, like easy Tim Means pick. I did not like the way Morano went out of that last fight, dude. He literally had a fucking facial seizure from getting cracked. Like, I don't know how he was medically cleared after that. I don't trust the guy's chin. So it's like, it makes it tough. It's like, I mean, I don't know, man. They both got fucking knocked out by Nico Price. I know that's a no contest, but Nico fucking slumped Alex Morano over like really badly. The dude goes down really hard. I think there is a chance Tim Means could knock him out, but Morano by decision just seems so live. And I'll tell you, like, full disclosure, I am terrible at fucking picking Alex Morano fights. I just picked Ponzinibbio the last time because I just wanted him to win and I thought he had a chance to knock him out, and he did. But like, normally Morano is someone that I just can't get a good read on. I fade him at the wrong time. So maybe this isn't the time to do it, but I've just been feeling Tim Means all week. Maybe it's stupid, but I'm going to, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if he fucking hurt Morono and Morono went for a desperate takedown and got fucking ninja choked or something. Like, I don't think, I get the fade on Means. He's almost 40, but yeah, give me a dirty bird. Bounce back here.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, the last time I was this confident in Morono by decision, it was against Anthony Pettis. Lou Betya, what's your thoughts on this one?
I mean, Dirty Bird's like top 10 all-time nickname, man. Like, just a tremendous, like, him and Mike Shitpile are like my favorite hicks that are, that have fought. Yeah, I mean, look, man, Morono, like, the one thing you guys didn't bring up, Morono won the first 2 rounds against Ponzinibbio on short notice. Like, he was up 2-0, and then he just kind of ran out of, Ponzi cracked him, and it was not a good look, the KO, but he's had a few. Yeah, I mean, he's had like almost 6 months to recover. Like, that's fine for me. I don't think he's going to bring residual damage just from that KO into this. I don't really know how Means finishes him here at all. Like, and Morono had 10 minutes of good cardio against Ponzi on really short notice. I think Morono I saw Pepe in the chat said round 2 sub. No. I think Morono round 2, round 3 is kind of an interesting look here. I think he's going to finish Means immediately. I think there's going to be a little bit of a feeling out process between 2 vets here. Morono will take over. He's going to have the cardio advantage. I think he's a safe parlay piece as well. But I mean, there's a little bit of money coming in on Means too. So this, just wait. If you like the Morono side, wait a little bit. But Means down to like plus 180 on some books. But
yeah, I got him at plus 180 here, minus 220 on Morono.
I feel like Morono is a safer parlay piece out of all these vets. But I think the sub's a really interesting prop. I mean, dude, when Holland's subbing you, like, out of nowhere, just to prove that he can, that's a bad look. Like,
didn't he hurt him, though? Didn't he club and sub him?
He put him to, I know, he got him. He knocked him down, and then he wrapped him in a choke. But still, I mean, like, I don't see why Morono can't do that. Morono's definitely got a better submission game than Kevin Holland does.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah, no, that's the interesting fight. I think it's a little bit closer than the odds are indicating, but it seems like they're kind of correcting themselves anyway, so it makes sense for some of the line movement. But yeah, plus 180 on Means, minus 220 right now. But 2 of us on Morono, 1 on Mr. Means. All right, up to 4th from the top here. This is going to be a stand-up fight. Yeah, we got Carlos Ulberg, who's just getting, I feel, kind of set up with a opponent who he can make look very, very bad here and knock out very, very hard. And your Porteria, and Eeyore coming off that win of the decrepit, the sad, the old, the broken, the shriveled up Mr. Shogun Hua. And yeah, Carlos Ulberg is a boxer who's come over to MMA, and he did get slumped by Kennedy, but otherwise he's looked pretty good for the most part. City Kickboxing, coming off of a really nice knockout of Nikolai Negromanu. So that's 3 straight fights where his opponents just aren't testing the wrestling. I think Eeyore is not going to be doing that either. I was less than impressed by Eeyore against Nikolai when Nikolai slumped him in round 2. Just gets hit a lot. I've seen it on a lot of his tape as well. You put away Shogun, that means nothing to me at all. Yeah, I just think Ulberg being set up here to get another KO. So Ulberg by KO for me probably happens in the first round. Lou?
Yeah, the under is a better price. Under 1.5, minus 135. I don't see Porteria getting a finish here, but I don't think this thing goes longer than 7.5 minutes either. I mean, the Negromanu win is incredible. Like, that's very unexpected that he got him out so quick. He's precise. And look, even against Kennedy, the first round, he looked great. His cardio, that's the funny thing about his first 2 fights. His cardio looked like he cardio dumped after the first round against Kennedy on his debut. And by the way, that's all right. Like, we've seen tons of fighters have that adrenaline dump, like, right away. And then he overcorrected against Charant, like, completely. And it seems now, at least, he's gotten his feet wet in the UFC. He's got a little bit of a balance. The knockout against Negramano was impressive to me because it didn't even look like he was gung-ho to start the fight. Like, he was patient. He took the shot.
I was there live. He looked really good.
And Betya has, like, his striking defense is awful. He flails his limbs. Like, I think he's going to be wide open for a KO shot. I don't know if I can get behind the Oldberg sub, but I mean, I like the price. I like the price.
I mean, everybody's got to love that price.
I mean, you never look. If that's what he's been working on, that's great. But
I mean, Kennedy just did it. Speaking of Kennedy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great price. And I love props like that. But I think under 1.5 is probably the look here over the Oldberg KO. If this thing goes out of the first 7.5, 8 minutes, this might get really ugly like the Charant fight.
Yeah. 2 cents. You got a shocking Fortnite dance Eeyore pick for us?
I mean, I wish I could. I don't know, man. I really, this is another one where, again, I hate everyone's on Oldberg. Like, he's probably going to win. Like, he's probably going to starch this dude. But, like, I mean, if there's one thing Eeyore's good at, it's, like, swinging wild. And he's, like, he's a decent striker. But Oldberg is way craftier. He's way cleaner with his technique. I do think he has more power. It's, like, other than a fluke, like, situation where Eeyore clips him, I think Poteri is getting starched. I think Oldberg has another,
it's to try to put him on like another Israel Adesanya card.
Yeah, it just seems like they're teeing him up for another like show making. But it's like, it's weird though. Did Eeyore take this on short notice or something? Because it's like, you think he would get it knocking out Nega Mariano. You think he'd get a better opponent than this dude.
I think they're just trying to build up Carlos here.
It must be just another like, here you go. We'll put this.
Maybe this is it's just one for the ladies.
Put this one on a platter.
Let's be honest. This is for the ladies.
Yeah, exactly. Minus 450 for the ladies on Oldberg. Nasty. Plus 350 on Eeyore. Ugh, God. It's like one of these everybody is on is going to get cracked this weekend for sure. And I'm just wondering which it's going to be. I really don't think it's this one though. But we'll see. Next fight. This is a really good fight. I think this could be fight of the night. I think this is one of the best fights on the card and frankly of the weekend. Ian Machado Gary. I just said his name very weird there, but Ian Machado Gary taking his wife's maiden name. Congratulations. Taking on Daniel D-Rod Rodriguez. Don't know how he got that nickname. Just very original. We'll have to ask him if he ever, wants to come on, but can't put it together. But the future, Ian Gary, looking pretty good so far in his run. He's had definitely some moments that have been questionable. The Jordan Williams fight, I'm not really going to worry about that one too much. It was his debut. He got cracked as hard as you can get by a guy who cracks very, very hard in Williams and put him away in the same round. So I actually liked what I saw in that one. Darian Weeks and Gabe Green, a little bit of a killer instinct questions in there, but at the same point, I just think, he did what he needed to do there. I think in this fight, he needs to definitely actually use his judo. And I think it's going to be a big key to the fight is how much he's willing to use his judo against Daniel Rodriguez. Because if this is primarily a stand-up fight, I think it's going to be very, very close. I think this is one that I wouldn't, look away from using the split decision approach on, frankly. But if Ian uses that judo, I really think Ian can look really good in this spot. I think it is just a part of his game. He hasn't shown as much since coming over to the UFC, but in Cage Warriors, it was a very routine part of his game. His grappling, he has not shown off enough yet. So I'd be interested to see that in this spot. But so far, the last 4 fights, he has not been using it as much. And, Daniel Rodriguez, he's a tough guy to get down. I think that he made some serious errors in his approach in the Neil Magny fight. And I just don't think that Ian Machado exactly fights that same way. Gary just gassed him out, basically. He really did. He just kept getting Rodriguez's arms tangled up in that first round. You just kind of see what was going on. And then by the third round, it wasn't like a jiu-jitsu. It was more of an exhausted submission that he got. And I just don't see Gary taking that approach. I got Daniel Rodriguez in this spot, man. I think that it's way closer than this line is indicating. I think that Ian Gary is going to have some bumps along the way to getting into the ranked fighters. I don't think he's there yet. And I just think that Daniel, he cracks hard. He's very experienced. He has his last couple fights he's not looked great. I will give people that. But I just think that if Gary chooses to make this a stand-up fight, he's making this a way too close. And he just hasn't shown the judo against a level of competition that is Daniel Rodriguez. So I think it's going to be a close fight. I could see it being a split decision. Daniel Rodriguez for me. 2 cents. What do you got in this one?
There's a little saying, boys. There's a little saying in the world, I guess. 2 words. Speed kills. Ian Gary is going to have a huge speed advantage in this fight. And I'm sorry, I don't buy this. Everyone loves D-Rod. I get it. He's a fucking jailhouse. He's a real fucking tough guy. I know. I get it. Who is he fucking knocked out in the UFC? Fucking Preston Parsons? Like, he almost got fucking finished by Dwight Grant, dude. I got a hot take for you, boys. Ian Gary is going to be the first dude to knock out Daniel Rodriguez. And you can tell him that 2 cents said it first. There you go.
Wow.
That's a bold claim. We'll see about. Okay, so you got Ian Gary by KO. That's got.
Yeah, I went back and watched these fights. Go back and watch the Gabe Green fight. Go back and watch any of D-Rod's fights. He gets hit by straight punches all the time. That is Ian Gary's bread and butter. Dude, like I said, he almost got put away by Dwight Grant. Like, he got knocked out in boxing by some complete fucking bum. You want to talk about
boxing knockouts don't matter. Yeah.
Go check out Lucius Johnson. He is a fucking bum, and he sparked Daniel Rodriguez. I don't think this dude is as tough as everyone thinks. I don't think he's as good as everyone thinks. I think he's a jobber. I think Ian Gary is we haven't even seen final form Ian Gary. I have seen Daniel Rodriguez at his peak. This dude's gonna starch him. You heard it right here.
Talking like a minus 300 favorite there. Lou, what's your thoughts on this one?
I wonder who had it tougher in prison, D-Rod or Dominic Mysterio. For those that, for my 2 wrestling fans out there, prison hard Dom. Let's start with the strangest part of this one. Literally 95% of the people I've seen and talked to love D-Rod. And yet that number keeps climbing for Ian Gary. Why is that? Why is the number going that way?
I didn't say I was betting him.
No. In general, everybody's like, man, I like D-Rod so much this week. Lobby brought up the 10-year age difference. You can't ignore that. D-Rod looked really slow against the Leech. I know he won that fight, but man, that to me is like, stylistically, that's probably the closest fight he's had recently to what he's getting from Gary in terms of not too much of a threat of the takedown. I know Gary does have some grappling, but for the most part, this would stay on the feet, that he's facing a dude who's going to have some length, that's going to be able to just wants to stand and bang with him. I think I agree with 2 cents. Gary's speed is like I think he's going to get, I don't want to say fraud checked. Maybe he's not like a complete fraud. He will get fraud checked at some point. I don't think this is the fight. And I think they know that, especially because you see a lot of these guys that have come over from Cage Warriors that, except for Dean Barry, who is terrible, whoever their management team is, they are picking these fights perfectly for their guys. Like, they are setting them up on the path.
Well, he's managed by the Cage Warriors runner, Grant, whatever his name. He manages a bunch of these guys. He manages,
but they're managed.
They're managed great. Look at how bad he's managed as well. Yes, I agree.
Right. So you got to think there's a reason that this is like a fight they exactly targeted. Like, I know I'm putting the narrative spin on it, but I believe in it. So I think Gary, I don't know that he gets him out of there. You may as well play the round 3 KO if you're going to fucking do it. And one other thing I don't like.
Patty Pimblett's fraudulent, but he's been managed perfectly, Mick. There's no question about it.
Absolutely.
Like, we know he's fraudulent. That's the whole point. When you can manage frauds, like which Gary might be.
So the
You know, I don't make this a secret. You guys have talked me off of Daniel Rodriguez here. I'm going to be joining you guys on Ian. I do especially respect the speed point, which was in my mind as well. And the last two performances by Rodriguez have been terrible. Like, they really have.
Well, Magny at least is like an awkward, but Magny's a very awkward matchup for people in general. Like, he just knows how to make those fights.
Yeah, he cracked
the Leach
Magny
fight was a bad look. But one more thing I want to add about Gary here, and this is why if you're going to play him by finish, it's got to be late. Is every fight that I've seen him play, he has no sense of urgency to start the fight. The Kenan Song fight, it wasn't until he got like tagged a bunch, he's like, all right. Like Jordan Williams tags him, and he's like, all right. Even the Darian Weeks fight was a lot of like against the cage, like nothing going on. Like, you know, the third round starts, he wants to slap hands, you know, slap ass, hug, like all this shit. Like, dude, stop wasting time. Like, because when he gets out of that, oh shit, I'm in a fight, and he gets ready, he looks good. He looks crisp. He rarely throws punches that miss, too. His striking accuracy is crazy good. So I don't know if he gets him out of there, but if you're going to, I mean, I don't see it round one. If you're going to play him like round 2, round 3 KO is probably the way to go here. So give me Gary. I think he's a safe parlay piece. And I hate parlaying minus 300s. You know this, but
yeah, I'm off this fight, obviously, when I'm switching on a fight mid-breakdown. I'm not rushing to bed.
But I get it. But you did it on the number. You looked at the number, which I understand. The number is so appealing.
Yes.
Like,
it's not, it really is, but it truly kind of, I mean, the number makes more sense the more you talk about the fight.
Like, are you taking D-Rod to pick him? Like, no, of course not.
No, of course not.
At 3-1, you know, exactly. I get it.
Plus 240 is just like, God, you can just spark him at some point. You can get a horrible North Carolina decision.
Or just variance. Or the variance of like an injury. Like,
right. Or, and like the other thing that holds me back from loving Ian Gary is that, like, again, the killer instinct thing. He switches it off too often. And like, he kind of has a Levy type of approach where he's just so gifted. He's got to fight, but like sometimes he doesn't fight. Right. So, yeah. Interesting fight. Thank you guys for the thoughts there. That helped me definitely sort through that one. I'll be honest. Co-main event. This at least is the co-main event right now. I'm not sure if they've switched around the order or not, but I believe this is co-main event still. Anthony Lionheart Smith taking on Johnny Walker. I've come around on this fight. At first, I was like, this fight is terrible. No, this is a good fight, and it's like it's a very interesting fight. I'm interested to see what happens with the winner after this one. Johnny Walker looks like he's found a little bit of a rebound since his latest downfall of the 2 straight losses to Jamal Hill and Thiago Santos, putting away Jan Kutalaba with the submission, and then Paul Craig he put away just brutally in that first round. 2 first-round finishes, however. And for me, I took this approach a lot last week with just my 2 cents. I was taking the guy who's the better overall MMA fighter repeatedly. It worked out really well last week. Anthony Smith is miles ahead of Johnny Walker in overall MMA game. I really do believe that. I think that Anthony Smith, he can, be selective on the feet, but like seriously, get him to the ground, put Johnny Walker onto his back, and he's going to stay there each of the rounds until he's either put away by ground and pound, which probably will happen, or he's submitted. I like the submission for Anthony Smith myself. I don't bet a lot of props early on in the week, but I did bet Anthony Smith plus 650, I believe. I got it at. I believe it's still at like plus 600. And I just think that Anthony Smith knows what he needs to do in this spot. And Johnny Walker is not going to a decision ever in his UFC career. He's going to be finished or get finished. I'm done. I bet Johnny Walker by decision for some reason last fight. I was like, I got it figured out. He's going to be a little bit nervous about Craig the entire time. He's going to show off a full game plan. No, never mind. He's going to be crazy. He's going to be wild. Leaves himself open to the takedowns. Anthony Smith, a very good wrestler, very good at top pressure. I think his jiu-jitsu game's underrated as well. I like Anthony Smith in this spot personally. Sure, he could get sparked, but I mean, at the same point, like, you know, I think that, you know, it's one of these spots where it's kill or be killed, and I'm picking the better overall MMA fighter in Anthony Lionheart Smith. So giving me him by submission, round 2.
Do we get to go?
Or Lou, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I meant do we get to go? You were like, we're moving on. I covered it perfectly.
No, yeah, I did. But yeah, no, whoever, I lose track. Lou, go ahead.
I would argue that you did cover it perfectly because I also love the Anthony Smith submission. I think you make it round 1, round 2, just to get a little bit of value. I mean, Walker is like, look, the under 1.5 is, I think, completely safe here. It's Walker's win condition. And honestly, I kind of think it's Anthony Smith's win condition at this point in his career. Anthony Smith, of course, Factory X guy. I don't have to tell you who will be in his corner. That's right. The one and only Cody Brundage will be in Anthony Smith's corner. Cody Brundage just lost, by the way, attributed to me not being on the show. So I paid the price for Cody losing that one.
Tried to warn you.
The only 2 fights that Walker's had that didn't like immediately end hilariously fast was the Santos one, where I think that was his first fight at SPG Global, where he was just like, you know, total overcorrection, working on his cardio. I mean, Santos isn't deading anybody at this point either. And that was just a bizarre fucking fight. Like, that was an inconsistent. And then speaking of bizarre fights, how Nikita Krylov didn't sub him, but didn't really try. He was kind of content, just take, because he knew that Walker was death gassed. He knew he couldn't get up. Krylov, look, man, he's vet. He's like, look, man, I got this.
Krylov's gone to a decision like twice in like 40 fights.
But he knew.
Like that, it's just crazy. Like it seems.
He
like
knew the only way he was going to lose the fight is if it got back to the feet, and that was, and even then, it probably wasn't likely. But so he fought a smart game plan,
which never happens.
No, I mean, that's funny. Well, you know, it's funny. Krylov out of the first round typically fights pretty smart because that's when he starts going grapple heavy. And he's like, all right, like, I think it's like first round finish for me, or like be smart. So he was. So other than that, though, but Anthony Smith's going to give Walker the total fight he wants here, like in terms of a nonsense meme fight. You know, Walker could easily win in the first minute. And this is, but you know, I haven't brought up like DFS yet. You have to play this fight, and you have to play both sides. And whatever lineups have the other one, just they're dead. You lose. Like whoever loses is probably gonna get 1 point. Like, their floor is 1. It's like 3 significant strikes and they died. Like Smith has the more upside because of the takedowns. They both have first round 1 upside. I guess Walker has KO.
I love Smith at plus money, but another plus money that's gone now.
Well, let me go with my Factory X boys. I mean, Smith in the distance is fine. I think the Smith sub is like, and I've seen a couple of people on it that I like, you and a couple others that I respect, like as a sharp take. Me being one of them, as I am the sub prop. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's good to respect yourself. Self-respect's important.
Of course. It's a good way. It's a good way to approach this fight with Smith. So under is like, I mean, fight doesn't start round 3 is probably like, and the other is what, 115? Or am I looking at, it's minus 130?
Yeah.
Like, I got it up. Let me see what fight starts round. I mean, even if you just want to get yourself a little wiggle room. Minus 250 fight to start round 3 seems like safe, but I'd rather just do the under 1.5 there, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. 2 cents. What's your thoughts on this matchup?
Okay, point number 1. Lou, you're lucky I'm in a good mood today because I did have a lovely avatar of your boy Cody Brundage getting fucking arm triangled. I was going to use that, but I was like, nah, I'll just keep it. I'll just do the I love you, man, roast thing. So that's point number 1. Point number 2, I hate Anthony Smith. Like, I don't like him. He annoys the living fuck out of me. That being said, he is a good fighter. He's a good, solid gatekeeper type fighter. He should win this fight, right? Like Anthony Smith, like Aaron said, he is just a better mixed martial artist, beating a higher level of competition. Anthony Smith, do not clinch up with Johnny Walker. That is how Walker gets all of his knockouts, dude. It's an elbow in the clinch. He's elbowing a dude trying to take him down. The Paul Craig shit where he just like back fists him while he's trying to grab his leg. If you were going to take this dude down, get in there, power double leg him, snap that fucking single down, just get him to the ground as quick as fucking possible. But yeah, once it gets there, dude, Smith is gonna fucking smoke him. Like he's gonna probably get a fucking arm triangle or something. But yeah, I think I'm picking Smith. I would never parlay Smith just because Walker's so dangerous. And like, I don't try, like Lou was alluding to, Smith is probably going to be a fucking dumbass and go out there and bang with Walker. So it's like, I hope he doesn't. Like, he has a clear path to victory. It's just, and I think he can knock him out. Like, I think Smith can knock him out if they're like standing at range, but in the clinch, that is where Walker is so quick and dangerous. It's like, dude, do not, because Smith likes to clinch fight and dirty box. Do not fucking do that here. If he doesn't, I think he wins.
Can I add one more thing here, Aaron?
Yeah.
As always, of note, when we cap an Anthony Smith fight, it's a reminder that he almost lost to a guy that had one leg in Jimmy Crute. That he almost somehow gave away a fight to, I'm eluding. Thank you, Jack. It's the implication. He almost lost to a guy that had literally one fucking leg.
Yep.
Like if that round was 6, like, yeah, my aunt had balls, should be my uncle, but like he got taken down by a guy who could not stand up. So I'm not saying Walker fights like that, but like for fuck's sake, always got to cap that in an Anthony Smith fight.
No, you're not wrong here at all. It's 110 on both sides right now. It's a pick 'em. I loved Anthony Smith when he was plus money. I still do like him in this spot. But yeah, I do, understand Johnny's very dangerous, and Anthony Smith has teeth that have fallen out inside his skull currently. So, yeah, we'll see on that one. But yeah, we're all on Anthony Smith here. So, we'll see how that goes. Main event time: Jairzinho Rozenstruik, Jailton Alemeida. Yeah, I don't know. Jailton Alemeida seems pretty good at getting his opponents down and submitting them. Jairzinho Rozenstruik outstruck Ngannou, so is that. But yeah, I just think outside of like 60 seconds, the first round or so, maybe for Jairzinho, I'm kind of struggling to see how this fight looks any different than Jailton Almeida's last few. I know he got rocked against Shamil. That is what a lot of people will point to. KO is how Rozenstruik's going to win this fight. He might just keep getting taken down every round and just being like, okay, I got these first 40 seconds each round to try to land an uppercut or a short hook before I get taken down again for the rest of the round. Otherwise, I'm going to reserve my energy for the next round and just hope to knock him out then. Probably would be the best approach for him, because otherwise I just think that Jailton's going to tire him out and then maybe get an exhausted submission on him. Otherwise, it could be a really horrible decision. I'm just having trouble seeing Jailton lose this one. So I just think Jailton wins. I hope he submits him. Jairzinho Rozenstruik knockout is the only condition he has to win, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think it's that simple. Almeida wins, and I think Almeida gets decision. Jack caught my breakdown on the Ngannou Rozenstruik fight. I'm glad someone did. Just my 2 cents.
Oh God, Jack loves that take. He has gone
He's
to the
so
well.
happy.
He has gone to the well with that one many times. Biggie boy KO, baby. I think Almeida's gonna get fucking fraud checked. Yeah, you said it, dude. He got rocked by Shamil. Shamil's takedown defense is worse than Biggie Boy's too. Like it's pretty bad. Like Jairzinho, he does get taken down. He got taken down less by Curtis Blades also than Shamil. So that's I don't know. Like, yeah, he could definitely, like, Almeida could definitely choke him. If he gets on top of him, he's gonna get smashed, make him give up the back, and probably rear naked choke him. So I'm not like, this isn't my most confident pick or take ever, but yeah, I think especially a bet like plus 400 on a dude that's like like you said, his win condition is the knockout. Like that's what he's gonna try and do. Almeida, the fucking best dude he fought Shamil, fucking jobber. Like Jairzinho is a hot,
the best guy you fought. Come on.
Say what?
Parker Porker's the best guy who fought. Come on.
Oh yeah, how could I forget? I should have known that was coming. Walked right into that one. Yeah, give me Biggie Boy. I'd say like I'm only like 60-40 on it, but as the underdog, I kind of like him this week. But
yeah,
yeah,
Jailton is minus 550, which is just sick.
That's kind of wild to me. So yeah, I'm gonna take Biggie Boy, but I could see him getting choked too. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'll say Jailton by decision, and we're all miserable here. Minus 550 plus 400 on Rozenstruik. Lou, you got any final thoughts before I give Zhang his good old parlay, which does have plus money involved in it?
Well, I'm just gonna break this down and tell you how to bet it. Like I think Almeida wins. It's not the bet.
Yeah.
If you go on DraftKings, I would bet the following two things. Rozenstruik to win in the first minute is plus 4,500.
Lovely.
And Rozenstruik to win between 1 minute and 1:59 is plus 5,000. I kind of feel like if he's going to win, that's how he's. And here's the fucked up thing. The fight to end in the first minute is only plus 650. I don't think Almeida's going to beat him in 2 minutes. Almeida's going to take his time and well, exactly. Like if this fight's going to end in 2 minutes, it's all Rozenstruik for me.
Yeah.
So, dude, you throw $5, $10 on each one of those insane props for what I really think is Rozenstruik's prime win condition. I fucking love it, man. Like 20 to win 500. Like sign me up, man. So I think even if no matter how much you want to bet Almeida is in the distance being in a parlay, whatever you want to do with Almeida, you have to back it up with Rozenstruik, like immediate KO. Like I don't know what Rozenstruik's. Let's see what this is. This is going to be similar. I want to see what his to win in under half a round is. It's plus 2,200 to win in 2.5 minutes. Like you may as well back up any Almeida bet you're going to make with that. I mean, that's pretty funny. Value. Value
Jimmy is making the prices on the books. I swear.
Jimmy's a very fun Twitter follower, by the way.
Yeah, Jimmy's great.
Follow, I should say. Follow.
All right, I won't go through the whole card here because
I got it up. I got it up, ready to do the parlay, dude. I swear to God.
Yeah, don't worry. I already did the math on it.
Good,
because I've learned how to survive without Lou at this point.
God damn it.
3 weeks of practice. Zhang Li, you are getting a couple special parlays today. I will do my traditional 5-piece parlay. However, I do feel that Carl Williams and Carl Solberg should be added to the 5-piece parlay. So with those two in the 5-piece parlay, so a 7-piece Zhang Li parlay of Gabriel Green, Natan Levy, Carl Williams, or Gabriel Green, Natan Levy, Cody Stamen, Matt Brown is my plus money in the parlay, and Alex Morono is the 5-piece parlay. When you add Olberg and Williams to it, it gets you to plus 2406. Take those two away for your 5-piece parlay at a plus 1560, which is again Gabriel Green, Natan Levy, Cody Stamen, Matt Brown, and Alex Morono. So that's this week's Zhang Li parlay. Add Olberg and Williams to it to get to plus 2400 if you want. 2 cents just ran to bet it right now. He couldn't even wait till the end of the show. But honestly, it's all good. Honestly, I really appreciate you coming back on the show, Lou. We always enjoy having you here. And 2 cents, appreciate you, man, as well. Did you catch the parlay at the end there?
No, I didn't. I accidentally hit the exit on my phone.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do a night, and I'm just gonna repeat it one more time. So the 5-piece parlay. And by the way, I have a special 7-piece parlay this week that adds Olberg and Williams to it. But the 5-piece parlay is Gabe Green at minus 130, Natan Levy minus 250, Cody Stamen minus 155, Matt Brown plus 180, Alex Morono minus 220 to get you a plus 1560. Add Williams and Olberg to it for a plus 2406 7-piece parlay that I really think could come in this week. 5-piece came in last week. It's come in 2 straight weeks, actually. So Zhang Li probably has a little extra spending money. Hopefully all of you as well. Lou, what you got coming up the rest of your week?
Chronic Combat tonight to talk about the exact same shit that we just talked about. And then I don't want you to get upset at this next thing, Aaron.
Oh, I don't care.
Tomorrow, the prop show. I had to get another Jew. I have Jewish Better will be joining me.
Oh, I love Jewish Better.
Skating on thin ice, Lou. Good God.
Jewish
There's
Better.
a few Jewish cappers you could have chosen that I would not have been happy with, but this is one that
he's been asking me, and he's pretty funny. So
and he actually bets. He actually bets, which is very helpful for a capper that they actually bet.
I can't imagine I'm going to bring up Locke and any of that shit. Can't imagine I'm going to bring up that on the show. And then Friday's the usual nonsense at 5:30.
Is there still the other happy hour show?
I mean, I don't know because I don't pay attention to it. And clearly,
or did they like
and anytime you have a guy who has 2 first names doing a show, you know he's like the fucking worst.
Yeah, Jay is not my real last name, so I don't feel bad. But
I thought your last name was the dog.
Yeah, it's it's
German. It's German. The dog.
Exactly. I'm a survivor. But yeah, great to have you. Seriously, Lou, glad to have you back on. Thank you for letting us lightly bust your balls. You're lucky
I got thick skin.
Yeah, no, that was nothing. We love you. That's why we get
go cry off camera.
Oh yeah, you should have heard what I was saying before
now. 2 cents. What do you got? You got the weigh-in show on Friday?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the weigh-in show, dude. Thank you for having me as always, Lou. I'm glad we were able to move past your treachery. No, I'm just playing. It was good to be on the panel with you again. Yeah, shout out to the chat. Best of luck, everyone. This is a greasy fucking card. I don't know how heavy I'm gonna go on it, but yeah, thanks for having me on, dude. It's a good time as always. Of course.
And just a reminder, I am gonna cover the Bellator card really quick. I'm just gonna let Lou and just my 2 cents go. But if you guys want to stick around, appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys next week. Peace out. I'm going to take you guys off screen now. Thanks, Lou.
Later, y'all.
All right. Later, man. All right. Oh, that is too much of Aaron the dog and my friends, Jairzinho and Jailton. Going to swing over to Bellator 296 really quickly. As I said at the top of the show, and this is just kind of an overall, guarantee I can make on the channel. If I am not making a separate video, if I'm making a separate video for the picks, it means that I put in what I feel is adequate time. That's multiple hours. And this wasn't. Yeah, exactly. And with this, I still was able to put in some thought, just not as much as I'd like to for a full video. So I'm just going to go into kind of a quick picks video. I'll make it more clear the fights, particularly that I feel better about picking, the fights I'm not as sure on. So let's go ahead and hop in. Thank you guys for the dozen who are sticking around here. You're the guys who are the channel's for, straight up. So it's a pretty good card, and takes place. What is it? Is this? This is in France. This one. It's on Friday, so it's not tomorrow, but it's Friday, May 12th. It's going to be a little bit early. Starting with a very, very, very good fight, in my opinion, between the Italian Nico Solili and Stephen Hill. Overall, I think this is one of the closer fights on the card. I really liked how Stephen Hill looked against Joel Koheda in the last fight. I get Joel Koheda, not a great fighter, but not a great record at least. But still, the way he handled him looked really, really good, and definitely, impressed me. I honestly had his opponent in that last fight. Just pulling up the lines here, so sorry for the delay here. But yeah, I think Stephen Hill should be able to get this fight done. But Nico Solili, is very, very, tricky. He's a very well-rounded guy. This fight was made on shorter notice. When I look at Nicolo's record, I get it's only 4-1, but the Kamara fight, a huge statement in the last one, had the split against Bobby Pallett in a fight where Bobby Pallett was quite favored as well. He did not look bad against George Hardwick. So by far, Stephen Hill's biggest test so far in his career. He's mostly been a hammer, mostly uses his wrestling. I do think that Stephen Hill gets this one done. I think that he's the real deal. Love to see Furio on Stephen Hill with me. What up, Furio? Good to see you here, man. But yeah, I like Stephen Hill in this one. I do not see a line yet available on this fight. Minus 210 on Stephen Hill. Nico Solili at plus 165. Not a bad shot. I'm going to go with Stephen Hill, though. Simone Biong versus Jose Augusto. This is just who the hell knows type of fight for me. Simone Biong obviously cracked Luke Trainer and kind of exposed Luke Trainer a little bit. Luke Trainer's made some good improvements since then. Jose Augusto, very hard hitter. He's definitely had his moments as well. I'll go Simone Biong. I think he's a little more well-rounded, but I think Jose Augusto might be the bigger of the two guys and could definitely crack him. But Simone at minus 135, I don't mind that shot potentially there if you're willing to take it. Barama Kamara, as we just talked about with Romain taking on Romain Debane. They're trying to get Barama a win after kind of choking against Nicolo in that fight. Romain didn't have a chance to really look into him a whole lot. I do like Kamara. I think that he's very athletic. Minus 230 might be a little steep, though, for my taste. Georges Sasu, went back and watched some of his fights. A little concerned about him coming back off the layoff, but he's faced a very good level of competition. And Azael Adoje has looked really good. He's looked better and better in each fight, working with Team Alpha Male. I think he's rounding out his game. So for me, I like Adouje in the spot, minus 425. No, thank you. That's a really rough fight between two French fighters in France. I think it's going to be very competitive. Mr. Andrea, I believe, Adrian Romero Rodriguez taking on Fabrique Diata. I'm a Fabrique Diata fan, definitely. Just the problem with him for me is sometimes he's a little too technical, kind of like our boy William Starks and a few other fighters. Definitely fights along those lines. Haven't gotten to see much of Romero Rodriguez's tape, unfortunately. The tape I did find wasn't too relevant for Diata. So I got Diata minus 525. I can't do anything with that. But Diata should be able to pretty much outclass him here, the Spanish fighter. Chris Gonzalez, Tim Wilde, one of the best fights, one of the closest fights on the card. Just when you think you can trust one guy, he kind of proves differently. Tim Wilde has a few fights that I've gone back and watched that I really, really did appreciate. I appreciated Saul Rogers' fight. I thought that was a fight that he was dead to rights in and looked really, really good in that fight. And the Alfie Davis draw, really don't mark that down. The Yves Landau fight and Charlie Leary fight, fought very, very intelligently. Ran into a really rough submission against Brett Primus. Even the fights before, when he was out of Cage Warriors, like against Anthony Dizzy to knock him out, very impressive. I'm a Tim Wilde fan, man. I really like Tim Wilde. Chris Gonzalez, very athletic, but has been sparked a few times and has been stopped by very, very good levels of competition. So, but yeah, I really do think that Tim Wilde is one of the guys on this card who I do feel like is being a little bit underestimated. At plus 220, I'm taking a shot on him. Minus 300 on Chris Gonzalez. Chris Gonzalez is very, very good, but honestly, I think Tim Wilde surprised a lot of people in his last fight against Saul Rogers, and myself included, and I think he's still got quite a bit left. Very good experience. So give me Tim Wilde at plus 220, one of my favorite dogs on the card. Sarvajan Kaimidov versus Kevin Petchy. Honestly, did not look into this fight. I'm going to go with the 14-0 Kyrgyzstan fighter. But I did not look into it much, and I know that the line is minus 600 for him. So, yeah, nothing to really talk about there. Haven't been able to look into that one as much as I wanted. Another prelim, I really like Yves Landau versus Piotr Nidzlitsky. I think this is a really, really good fight. And one that at one point Piotr was a pretty big favorite. Ton of money's coming on Yves Landau. I think Yves Landau is the better athlete. I think that the volume is a bit of a concern, but I think he can use his movement to kind of keep off the pressure of Piotr. Piotr is a little bit limited. I get he had the win against Pedro Carvalho, but honestly, his next fight, I think, did it kind of more accurately represent him against Richie Smullins. Richie Smullins had a lot of movement, and he does have a little more volume than Yves Landau, but I think Yves will do well here. I like him at 145 as well. So give me Yves minus 150 on both sides at this point. It is a very close fight. I agree. I would love to get him when he was at plus money. Next fight is the second third to last prelim, I should say. I forgot how long this card is. Saul Rogers, Davey Gallen, another really good 155 fight. Saul Rogers disappointed me pretty bad in that last fight with Tim Wilde, but Tim Wilde just had a really, really good game plan and looked like Saul Rogers had really started to figure out kind of more his rhythm. It's pretty obvious what you do against Davey Gallen. You go for the takedowns. Davey's last fight, that is what ended up costing him against Daniel Scatizzi. It typically is what costs him. And what I like about Saul is he's willing to go to the grappling. I don't think he needs to like worry about this, the stand-up of Davey. I really like Davey a lot, man. I'd love to see him pull this one out. Takedown defense being there is going to be huge. And if the takedown defense is there, man, I really do like him in this spot. So I'm going to go with Davey Gallen. I think that the first round Saul could have a lot of success, but as long as Davey's making him work for the takedowns, particularly early on, I think Saul could get frustrated, and Saul on the feet is less than desirable. Davey is live for the knockout, live to take the last 2 or 3. Justin, I'll try to give a 3-piece for Bellator, but I didn't really prepare for that, but I'll look into it. But I like Davey Gallen here in this spot. I like him in France as well. Saul Rogers, I think it's going to have some questions coming into this fight, so I'll be interested to see how he responds. But plus 150 on Davey Gallen. Give me him in this spot. I like him to make the rebound. Oliver Enkamp taking on Luca Puklit. Oliver Enkamp in the last fight against Mark Lemminger wasn't really thrilled with how he had to resort to the buggy choke to get the fight finished. I do think that Enkamp he's okay, but let me just, looking at his Bellator record so far, let me just see. So he's 4-1 coming into this. Kyle Crutchmer was able to control him with the wrestling very, very well. Lemminger had his moments in that fight for sure. The wrestling, the takedown could have worked there, but he just locked up a buggy choke, which I think could get him into trouble if he's kind of resorting to the guillotine and those kind of attempts off of his back against a guy like Luca. Luca is just a very, very good sound wrestler, really tricky grappler as well. Just doesn't fight a lot. And that's the biggest problem I have for him. But when he does fight, looks very good. Obviously with Eagles Fighting Championship, was a champion, finished all of his opponents but one there, faced a decent level of competition. Came over to Bellator against Dante Sciro and got an absolutely sick choke there in the second round. Both these guys coming off really impressive submissions. I think Luca is the more impressive wrestler on the feet. Oliver has the advantage hugely. This is a really close fight, but I got another dog here in Luca Puklit. I got Luca Puklit at plus 135. He's now at plus 125, minus 165 on Oliver Enkamp. They put the meme subbers against each other. Good matchup. I agree, Jack. It should be a good fight, but I got Luca in this spot. So another underdog for me on the undercard. Next fight, 125, Denise Kielholtz versus Paula Christina, also known as Paula Bidencourt. Paula Bidencourt has fought all her fights at 135, not against a great level of competition. She doesn't look particularly quick. She looks to put a lot of cage pressure, but doesn't seem to have the wrestling I think needed to exploit Denise Kielholtz. Kielholtz absolutely rocked Yana Watanabe in her last fight. I think Kielholtz is going to get back into the win column here. I think this is going to be mostly a kickboxing affair here. I like Denise Kielholtz. I don't know how Paula Christina is going to look at 125. I don't think she's going to have much speed. Her power didn't particularly blow me away either. So, I got Denise Kielholtz in this spot, minus 285. I don't think it's a bad number. I think she's going to be able to handle Paula Bidencourt, Paula Christina, whatever you want to call her. Unfortunately, the one fight Paula did fight at 125 was against Dakota Dikayev. Dakota from PFL, the 125 flyweight phenom from England. I'm screwing up on the last name, but very good finisher, very good striker. And she went to the distance. I wasn't able to find the fight. It was with UAE, though. So it was her one loss. So good level of competition there in that fight. But other than that, the tape I was able to see on Paul, I can't take her here. Next fight, main card time. 4 fights on the main card, 11 fights on the undercard. Thibaut Gouti versus Kane Moussa. Straight up, I just don't think that Kane Moussa is very good. I think he's very hittable as well, and his offense just doesn't really blow me away too much. I think Thibaut Gouti, good striker as well. I think he's going to have his way in this one, and I think he gets the knockout personally. But either way, I definitely like Thibaut in this one, and Gouti, he definitely would be one of my 3 on the parlay. Personally, I just think that he should be able to take this one. Last I checked, he was only a minus 155 favorite. I think that's a great price on him. Plus 120 on Kane. I don't agree. I don't think Kane is worthy of that. Next fight, third from the top, 185 middleweights, Douglas Lima and Costello Van Steenis. This is a really good close matchup. I think that if Douglas Lima loses this one, he's really done. He's lost, I believe, 3 straight coming into this one last I checked. Costello, not a bad fighter at all. Very good stand-up, decently well-rounded. Lost 4 straight. Gegard Mousasi, Yaroslav Amazov. Michael Page by split decision, really close fight. Jason Jackson. So no real shame in those 4 losses. He has not been put away yet, so you're going to have to most likely win a decision against him. And for the most part, Van Steenis has also looked good. He had the win over Fabian Edwards in 2020, had a couple years off due to injury, came back and looked very good against a 9-1 Kamil Onasheshuk, got the second round finish. There's a different level going up to Douglas Lima, in my opinion. But the guys who he's lost to in general have been guys who have exploited the wrestling. Boswick, wrestler, and John Salter, obviously a wrestler. So it's just tough for me to get there on Lima. I think he loses another decision here to Costello. And honestly, I don't know what Lima's got left at this point, but I got Costello minus 155. I don't love it at all. Plus 120 on Lima. I get it if you're on Lima, but yeah, I got Costello here. Just barely. Co-main event, 155 Grand Prix. Sydney Outlaw did drugs and failed the drug test, so Brent Primus back in here against Mansour Barnoi. Mansour looked really good coming back from that decent layoff, 20-4, mostly known for the grappling here. Rear naked choke of Adam Piccolotti after a 3-year layoff. Looked pretty good in that one. Adam Piccolotti is so here. Going to have to show more of a well-rounded game, though, against Brent Primus, in my opinion. Brent Primus, probably a better grappler. And honestly, not sure about the rest of the game, but grappling-wise, very, very good. Handled Benson Henderson, but he's lost 2 of his last 3. Really close split decision against Mamamedov. I went back and watched it. I personally think you could have given it to either guy. The Shapley fight, a little more troubling, but Shapley, a very sharp striker. And honestly, I didn't see anything on Mansour that gave me pause, but in a matchup like this, I think there's a much tougher matchup for him than Sydney Outlaw. Would not surprise me at all if Brent Primus comes in here and springs the upset. I think a minus 360 on Mansour is completely crazy. I'm very close to just sprinkling Brent Primus at plus 255. At this point, I'm passing. I'll take Mansour by decision, but I'm not confident in that pick at all. Frankly, the co-main event and main event, not confident in these ones at all. Moving on to the main event, Gegard Mousasi, Fabian Edwards. Gegard Mousasi, another guy. How much is left in the tank of a guy with 60 going into his 60th fight? I don't know. The Johnny Eblen fight, he was absolutely outclassed in. And it just was not close. Looked pretty rough. We had the Lovato fight a while ago that wasn't great in 2019. A split against Machida. The Lima fight, probably the best he's looked lately. And then the finishes of John Salter and Vanderford, very, very inspiring. And I think that's more what this looks like. Fabian Edwards just is not good. I don't think he's the guy to fully expose and retire Gegard Mousasi. Fabian significantly worse than his brother. Last fight was against Charlie Ward, and he couldn't finish Charlie Ward, had to go to the decision. And then Lyoto Machida. So he's fought 2 40-plus-year-olds, got handled by Vandeford pretty well as well. I think that Musashi resorts to the grappling a little more in this fight. I like Musashi to get it done against Fabian, but again, I have too many questions about Musashi to fully trust him, especially at minus 275. The Justin Villegas 3-piece Bellator parlay. Fighters I would put in there. Let me just clear off really quickly and give you 3 to 5. Let's see if I can find 5 for you guys, but I'll at least give you 3. I'm going to put Thiago Gotti in there at minus 155. I like Yves Landau, minus 115 still. Stephen Hill. Yeah, so, and actually, I'm going to take out, so for my 3-piece, I like Denise Kielholtz, Stephen Hill, Thiago Gotti. That will get you a plus 230 parlay. For the 5-piece, if you want to add to those 3, I would add Yves Landau. And I'm also going to add, I don't want to add a hugely, Yves Landau, and let's go ahead, and I will add, just based on who is available, I'm going to go with Gegard Mousasi at minus 275. So with those two, so Yves Landau, Denise Kielholtz, Stephen Hill, Thiago Gotti, and Mousasi. Again, this is on very limited research, but the amount of research I've done, plus 750 on those 5. So I like the dogs I like on the card. Just to recap, are mostly in the middle here, but I like Tim Wilde. Potentially, Yves Landau was a dog. I like Davy Gallen and Luca Poclete as dogs personally. Another dog who I don't hate taking a stab at the price is Brent Primus, but I'm not doing that myself. No problem, Justin. But that's going to do it for the UFC Bellator Breakdown show here. As I get moved in here, I am looking to add back my full rotation of breakdowns, but right now I just don't have the time to fully dedicate and then add a separate video, but the confidence in the picks are there. Thanks the 12 who stuck around here after the UFC show. I really appreciate that. Shout out again to Lou. Welcome back. It was fully open, with what happened, and it is what it is. But, I'm glad that we can work things out, and I love working with him. So thank you, Lou, for your help. Go support him. And Just My 2 cents never goes anywhere. I mean, Just My 2 cents reliable as all. So appreciate him and appreciate all you guys. Without you guys, channel wouldn't be going still. So thank you guys for the support. That is going to do it for the UFC ABC/Bellator breakdown show. Do it for the breakdowns for the week. So good luck, everybody, on Friday. Good luck, everybody, on Saturday. Thank you, Jimmy, for sticking around. Justin, Jack, Moise, everybody. I appreciate you guys all. So good luck this weekend, and I will talk to you next week with Lou and Just My 2 cents for the UFC show. LFA is back next week. 2 cents in the chat, of course. Peace out. Best of luck, boys.